Hello and welcome back to the Nihil channel and more Lost Eidolons. I said in the last episode this would be our lore codex story time thing, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a couple of camp things first, and then we're gonna get into it.
Yeah?
So we need to talk to him about monster things, because that's one of our side quests. Good, we have a lot to discuss. Monster lore. Monsters, you say? We've certainly seen plenty of those. I still have nightmares about formicants. I don't know what those are. I bet those things are terrifying. I hate fighting bugs. Oh, I don't like bugs. You don't know the half of it. When Robin and I lived in a leash, we had a swarm that tore through all the time. One point it got so bad I thought about giving up carpentry and hunting them full time.
Sure.
That explains why you and Robin were so good at fighting them that first time we met. You can learn a lot from books if you're desperate enough. Started with researching their anatomy to find weaknesses. Next thing I knew, we were the resident pest control. Sounds about right. You know, until I became a mercenary, I never would have believed there could be worse things out there.
Yes.
Yeah, it's hard to top a hellhound when it comes to nastiness. On the bright side, monsters never change. We, on the other hand, are always learning. And I, for one, intend to keep doing so. The more knowledge we have, the safer we'll be. Glad to have you by our side, pal. Thanks, Cap. I can take it from here. Alright. Sweet. In between episodes, too, I could hit complete on the Marshall quest, where we gave her a spear. Alright, so now we just have optional battles and train with an opponent. Train with anybody. Okay. Does this guy want to talk? Oh, any progress? I have something to report. Is our reputation making progress? Yes, there are quite a few residents and merchants that are keen on joining us. In addition, we've been receiving requests for assistance from all over. Yes, that's what happens when you start doing people favors. I recommend you choose some soldiers and dispatch them as needed. 30. Send soldiers to nearby areas. Yeah, I guess so. We don't have to do the training thing this time, so we'll dispatch people. And I don't have any more gifts, really, to give, what's her name? Okay, put me back here. Is there more to that? I missed the little pop-up that it said. I guess we're good. I don't know. Do I still have 30 to spend?
Hey.
Yeah, I do. Interesting.
Yeah, thanks.
Did that up my max? I think it did. Well, that's good. Let's go see what Francisco needs. We gotta do that next.
How's it going? Hey, brother, question. Are we allowed to do things on our own?
I mean,
Or do we need permission from Ballastar for everything?
to what extent are we talking?
Why? Is something wrong?
Well, it's just... I was talking to Porter earlier. Apparently this area's got a bad bandit problem.
Okay.
Porter said he gets robbed a lot coming and going. I think their hideout isn't too far from here.
Yeah, we could probably deal with
Can we
that.
go deal with it?
Probably.
Francisco.
Is that a no?
Of course we can.
Have
we ever let things like that slide in the past?
Ha! Of course not! I knew you'd do the right thing. Alright, I'm gonna get ready.
New quest. Solo mission. Alright, do an optional battle with Francisco and your squad. Alright, that'll probably be what we do next episode. Alright, it is time. Alright, I want to break this up. Do we want to do locations? Or... I'm not sure what that is. Yeah, we'll start with locations. So, this is going to be kind of audiobook. I'm just going to read it off. And hope you can settle in, or I always like to listen to podcasts and things working around the house. I don't know, however you want to do it. So, let's get into it. We're going to start with Castilian. Castilian, the old kingdom capital, now an aging fort city, famed for its towering walls and outdoor markets. Castilian is the ancestral seat of numerous powerful factions, including House Orsio, the late royal family, and House Fenice, their closest ally. In recent years, the city has become the focal point for rebel activity in the province, owing in no small part to Isoro Fenice, patriarch of House Fenice, and currently the head of a burgeoning Benarian independence movement. Collis, a quiet farming town at the foot of Mount Calero. Local folklore tells of a witch named Nana Coco, who lives inside the mountain, emerging on the last full moon of every year to devour naughty children. Elish, a fortified hillside town not far from Lanetta. Decades ago, Elish was the operating base of the Golden Hounds, a mercenary company Leon's great-great-grandfather belonged to. Today, the house is a key point of imperial power in Benario, with local officials tied closely to House Zerpiel and a permanent garrison of elite archers. Mora, a ranching community surrounded by fields and pastures, known far and wide for breeding the best horses in Artemisia. The town has fallen on difficult times in the last few years, thanks to crushing taxes and new competition from imperial breeders in Florient. Among Benarians, Mora is also known for its flower trade, particularly the Moran poppy, a delicate white blossom that was a favorite of Leon's mother. Portum, the province's largest shipping hub. Portum is also known as the Jewel by the Sea. Oh, the Jewel by the Sea, I see. Though its cultural vibrance has been dimmed by the unification, the city remains a cosmopolitan melting pot, and is known among Benarians for its rich seafood culture. The signature local dish is asbestos? A salty street food that consists of cane skewered with sardines cooked over a wood-fired grill. Well, I don't know if they told you, but you're not supposed to eat that. Selvin. Tucked away in a mountainous region on the border of the Misty Woods, the town of Selvin began as a hunter's lodge and logging camp, and grew over time into a cozy hamlet. Once cheerful and bustling, Selvin is today barren and sparsely populated, as the creeping expansion of the Misty Woods brings a rise in monster attacks that threatens to drive out residents entirely. Those who remain eke out a meager living operating inns, stables, and other services for the Imperial Army, which occasionally uses the town as an outpost. That's all for the towns. Next, we have a lot of houses and just sort of misc. We'll do that, then we'll do people. So we'll do houses next. House Bayardine. Prior to the unification, the kingdom of Florient was rich and prosperous, and House Bayardine was the wealthiest royal family in Artemisia. With a massive population and sizable taxes on imports, the Bayardines ruled with their purse strings and lived in relative opulence, even as neighboring kingdoms starved. It was House Bayardine's wealth and infrastructure that would later form the bedrock of the empire. Following the imperial unification, greedy tax collectors became corrupt local officials. Florient's capital city fell under permanent occupation, and its once influential royal family was reduced to little more than a front for imperial rule. Today, the members of House Bayardine have very little meaningful influence. Their role is chiefly ceremonial, while Florient's prime minister governs the province on House Zerpiel's behalf. Interesting. House Coelho? Yeah, we'll go with that. Coelho. It has often been said that in Benario's golden days, the bears held the border, the phoenixes kept the peace, and the rabbits did all the real work. Loyal servants since ancient times, House Coelho served as the stewards of House Orsario's domains, handling everything from tax collection to trade negotiations. But by far their most sacred duty was the tutelage of Orsario family offspring in matters like diplomacy, finance, and local administration. Upon their 15th birthday, it was customary for every Orsario heir to spend 1 year working in a common village as the ward of a local Coelho official, to learn firsthand how a kingdom was run. Tragically, the Coelhos were destroyed in the same massacre that claimed the Orsios. Today, few members of the family remain alive, though it's rumored a handful may be living under false names. But with their fortunes tied to the royal family, or the former royal family, most Benarians consider it highly unlikely that House Coelho will ever return to its former status, unless House Orsio should somehow return from the dead. Well, we've had that happen. House Corax. A guerrilla force of outlaws and outcasts, Colin's Crows are a persistent thorn in the Empire's side, able to strike quickly at provincial outposts, then scatter to the hills before reinforcements arrive. For this reason, and despite the reprisals they often incite, the Crows enjoy widespread popularity amongst the dispossessed, an image they happily embrace. It is all too common for an unsuspecting village to awaken overnight and discover their town square has been papered with Colin's latest manifesto, proclaiming impending victory against the Conqueror's serpents. In recent years, the Crows have inflicted a string of surprisingly costly losses on Imperial forces, threatening to destabilize the throne itself. But with disorganized leadership and divided internal factions, they've struggled to convert temporary victories into lasting change. Yeah, I really hope we meet Colin Corax at some point. He is such a named guy, like, maybe they're hanging on to him for the sequel. I don't know. Gotta keep hydrating to keep my voice going through all this. It's a lot of talking. I don't mind, though. House Fenice. A proud family with a storied history. House Fenice arose in antiquity from the city watch of Castilian, and enjoyed a close relationship with the former kingdom's ruling power, House Orsio. In the family's glory days, Amadio Fenice served as Benario's chief protector, and was widely beloved by its people. Tragically, House Fenice's flame was snuffed during unification. When Amadio was killed during the war, the royal family was massacred, and Benario fell. In the years that followed, the Fenice family's influence has waned, and their fortune has all but been obliterated under vindictive imperial taxes. Nonetheless, the embers of a once great name still burn, and Amadio's legacy lives on, through his brother, Isoro's rebellion, and his son, Ballastar's victories on the battlefield. After years of biding their time, House Fenice is now poised to explode from the ashes, and unleash the fires of hell on its enemies. Yeah, they're pretty cool. House Orsio. The late royal family of the former kingdom of Benario, now an imperial province. Growing from a clan of bearskin-clad berserkers to one of the mightiest houses on Artemisia, the story of the Orsio family's ascent is the history of Benario itself, and their downfall, its conquest. For centuries, the Orsios reigned fairly and benevolently, with the aid of their allies, House Fenice. Though not as widely beloved, they were by no means disliked, and among enemies their name was feared and respected. From the fortress city of Castilian, House Orsio protected the borders, while House Fenice kept the peace at home, and the common people prospered. Tragically, during the conquest of House Zerpiel, the entire Orsio family was infamously massacred in a single night. Memories of that incident have etched lasting resentment in the hearts of Benario's people. In that sense, the spirit of House Orsio lives on, a slumbering rage, awaiting the right season to reawaken. House Siegewolf. Though the emblem of House Siegewolf is a wolf, it might just as easily be a steer. The youngest of the great houses, the Siegewolfs, were once a family of cattle barons who ruled the open plains, and secured their status as kingdom royalty through a series of strategic and costly land grabs. Unfortunately, they did so only one generation before the unification. Yeah, that sucks. After House Zerpiel ravaged their lands and annexed much of their holdings, House Siegewolf was left drowning in debt and mired in resentment. While the family lacks the strength to oppose the Empire on their own, it's rumored that they kept secret storehouses for surplus crops, a precious resource that would go a long way toward provisioning a rebel army. Oh. Yeah, that really sucks that they seized a bunch of lands, or not sieged, but paid for, and then had them all stolen away. So it seems like that's it for the houses. Now we're into sort of Misk. So we have Artemisian cuisine. With varying cultures and climates, it's only natural that the cuisine of Artemisia is just as diverse. While staples like poultry and grain are common across the continent, each region has their own unique palate, from the seafood stews of Benario to the seasoned red meats of Lamprecht. Since the unification, trade routes have dramatically improved. For the wealthy, this has resulted in easier access to regional ingredients and exotic foreign cuisine. Nonetheless, numerous wars have resulted in widespread food shortages for the poor. In recent years, most culinary innovation among the common people has been a matter of necessity rather than taste. Civil unrest. Since Ludovicus first took power, an atmosphere of distrust has always been palpable in certain corners of Artemisia. In the early days of the Empire, that distrust remained unspoken, with an endless stream of promises from the capital of impending stability and reform. Even House Zerpiel's fiercest enemies had little appetite for further violence, particularly as the continent was still reeling from war. But with the passing of time, greater and greater numbers of imperial subjects have grown frustrated by the Empire's rampant corruption, oppression, and neglect. As discontent has grown louder, imperial attempts to stifle it have grown increasingly heavy-handed, further fueling the gradual spiral toward a new civil war. Let's read about horses. Though Artemisia is home to myriad cultures and people, one commonality they all share is a dependence on horses. Though it's unknown when wild horses were first introduced to the continent, it is generally believed that they were first domesticated sometime in the past 2 millennia. Since then, a number of specialized breeds have arisen to better suit certain tasks and environments. A horse from Nibosa, with its heavy tresses and thick coat, is worlds different from those born in Corsurinda, notable for their sleek, summery manes. From antiquity, the ranching town of Mora, in the province of Benario, has been famed for breeding the swiftest coursers and strongest destriers, whose descendants can still be found in the stables of Artemisia's wealthiest families. However, since the war, regions such as Viadel and Florient have also seen a surge in horse husbandry, supplying the majority of cavalry stock to the imperial army. Imperial coinage. Speaking of the imperial army, prior to the unification, most of Artemisia's kingdoms had their own currencies. After the empire was established and the kingdoms became provinces, their native currencies were abolished and a gold standard imposed. Good choice. Maybe. Manufactured exclusively in the capital city of Liroyar, the imperial gold piece is one more system of oppressive control. With new coins printed sporadically and tax rates that change all the time, the buying power of gold fluctuates constantly. House Zerpiel weaponizes this volatility to influence markets, enriching its allies and starving its enemies. As a result, imperial coinage is intensely unpopular, a favorite rebel talking point for gaining both common recruits and noble allies, many of whom lost a fortune in the conversion. Okay. So, good idea for the Empire, but yeah, that seems to have been implemented really horribly. And I love the idea that they're even thinking about this, the developers were, and the writers. Like, you know, that's not something I see in many SRPGs, that we can have a conversation about their coinage and how they do business and stuff, and, like, get into specifics. That's really cool. Let's get into Imperial Inquisitors. Key mid-level officials in the imperial bureaucracy, inquisitors are special administrators given broad power to audit local lords on behalf of the empire. Ostensibly, their purpose is to serve as a check on corruption, but with little oversight, most are corrupt themselves and earn a comfortable living by looking the other way. Nonetheless, some are indeed well-meaning individuals striving to reform a broken system from within, an uphill battle in which they receive little support. Alright, let's learn about the lords and ladies of the land. Lords and ladies are mid-level imperial officials empowered to govern over small territories within a province, such as a single town or city. Exclusively highborn, most inherited their titles hereditarily. That's kind of what inherited means. Oh, well, I don't know. I guess you could inherit it other ways. Hailing from families that betrayed their homelands and aided House Zerpiel during the unification. As with other forms of noble inheritance, such titles are passed down to whichever child of a family is deemed the most fit. There are no legal restrictions on the matter with regard to gender, age, or primogeniture. Within their territories, lords and ladies have total authority. While they are ostensibly bound by codes of conduct, such things are rarely enforced, so long as they meet tax quotas, enforce cultural edicts, and pay the proper bribes. As a result, most lords and ladies are free to rule however they wish, to the detriment of their subjects. What Robert was teaching us about, let's get into monster taming. So long as monsters have roamed Artemisia, there have been those who seek to harness them, whether for profit or study. Such efforts usually end in death. Though some assert that monsters are simple animals, this belief is not borne out by reality. Mutated by soulstone energy, monsters are another form of life entirely. In many ways, a hellhound is as different from a dog as a dog is from a fish. While their behaviors vary wildly from one another, one thing unites all monsters: absolute aggression towards humans. Whether young or old, gently enticed or harshly coerced, a monster will struggle itself to death rather than accept a bridle. On the other hand, crafty souls who accept that fact can find creative ways to take advantage of it. Among mercenary companies who battle monsters today, it is common to appoint quick-footed decoys as bait, and make use of provoking tactics. Others, such as Aurelio, have even utilized monsters in warfare, though such methods are inherently risky. Yeah, I can imagine. Rebel ranks. In the army of Benario, command structure is an area of constant innovation, synthesizing elements from many other factions. From the Empire, it borrows its overall hierarchy, as well as specific titles like High Commander. From the Crows, it borrows a spirit of flexibility and merit-driven advancement. Below the officer ranks, there is little formal structure. Unit commanders delegate as they see fit. Roles change often, and individuals who excel ascend quickly. As a result, the Benarian army excels at adaptation and improvisation, while maintaining discipline and cultivating leadership. This is the result of careful planning by Isoro, based on his experiences during the War of Unification. Rules of Engagement. The history of Artemisia is a record etched in blood, forged over untold centuries of battle and rebuilding. As the methods of war have changed, so too have the laws, customs, and culture surrounding it. In centuries past, war was the sole provenance of lifelong warriors, with small-scale battles governed by strict honor philosophies. With the discovery of steel blacksmithing and horse husbandry came the rise of peasant armies and the development of formal codes of chivalry, which persisted for much of Artemisia's history. During the unification, such codes were cast aside, with the rapid adoption of practices like poisoning and assassination as everyday tactics, owing in large part to House Zerpiel. The Imperial Propaganda Ministry takes great pains to retroactively glorify such tactics, painting the martial cultures of defeated enemies as archaic and foolish. As war once more spreads across the continent, the rules of engagement have begun to evolve again, from the asymmetrical strategies of Colin's Crows to the mixed unit tactics of the Benarian rebels. The Imperial Army. Initially assembled as the conquering force of House Zerpiel, the Imperial Army has since expanded to plant eyes and ears across Artemisia. But with the Empire in decline and public animus on the rise, the Army's mission has gradually shifted from maintaining order to exterminating rebellion. That task has been made even more difficult given the decline of the Army itself. Once a fearsome machine, its frontline forces were reserved for only the most vicious of warriors, while its upper echelons were dominated by the most brutal of tactical minds. Today, its ranks have been hollowed out by nepotism, and its forces spread thin across the provinces. But while its current forces may lack the skill and experience of their predecessors, they are not without menace. Bolstered by overwhelming numbers and driven by the sure-footed leadership of High Commander Caspar, the Imperial Army remains a formidable challenge to any who would defy the Emperor's will. And the last one in the misc category, the study of magic. Magic is deeply rooted in the soil of Artemisia, and has been the subject of curiosity for eons. Sadly, the whims of history have ensured that magical study remains an esoteric field, and public understanding exists in a state of perpetual flux. In ancient times, the practice of magic was reckless and unpredictable, prone to wild surges of power, resulting in countless innocent deaths. After one particularly large-scale incident, a group of exiled mages came together to build a vast library tower, pooling their knowledge to prevent further catastrophe. One man in particular, High Sage Cornelius, dedicated his life to this mission, leaving behind numerous works that would form the foundation of all magical study. In his memory, the tower was dubbed the Cornelian Spire, a symbol of human learning and ingenuity. Tragically, the spire was razed by House Zerpiel during the unification. In the years since, its members have been forced into hiding. Today, most have renounced magic altogether and disappeared into the general population, though some continue their studies in secret, living as beggars and vagabonds. Reminds me of the Library of Alexandria. Alright, next we have people. I'm gonna get another drink here real quick, though. I suppose we'll start with our new king. Abramo. Let's see here. I'm gonna move myself over here, my camera, so that you guys can see the art unopposed, uninhibited, without me in the way. Because I really like the portrait art they have for each character. Abramo, the last survivor of House Orsio, and heir to the throne of Benario, Abramo spent many years living in hiding, after his entire bloodline was extinguished during the unification. Initially reluctant to aid the rebel cause, Abramo eventually came to accept his role as king, though his reasons remain shrouded. Ballastar. Hailing from the country of Benario, Ballastar is the heir to the prestigious Fenice family. Though war claimed much of his house at a young age, he was brought up under the wing of his uncle, Isoro, better known as the Broken Blade. Charismatic, calculating, and staunch in his beliefs, Ballastar's only flaw happens to be his fiery temper, leading him to act impulsively. Having witnessed the horrors of war and the suffering that followed, Ballastar holds a deep resentment toward Emperor Ludovictus. He seeks nothing less than the absolute destruction of the Empire, and to be the one who brings them to their knees. With a fiery air of natural authority, and a voice that makes even the laziest soldier snap to attention, Ballastar quickly ascended the ranks of his uncle's army, and became the most capable general. Though his heart is a fortress, he does occasionally open the gates to those who gain his trust. On rare occasions, his bellowing laugh can be heard ringing throughout the camp, especially after a victory. He's so cool. Selena. Naturally shy and reserved, Selena often hides behind her younger sister Lila, despite being the elder. Though not one to angle for attention, she can often be found meticulously training and preparing for battle in her own way. Chelsea. A highborn sworn to Ballastar's house. Chelsea has a quick wit and a savage tongue. On the battlefield, she puts down enemies with ruthless efficiency. In camp, she apparently derives great pleasure from ridiculing those she deems inferior. Cristobal, the adoptive uncle of Abramo Orsio. Cristobal hails from House Coelho. Oh, okay, interesting. A line of stewards that have served the royal family. House Orsio for generations. Though he appears to be a bumbling oafish noble, he may be more clever than he lets on. Yeah, I've still got questions about him. Dahlia, our first actual recruit. A skilled assassin whose bloody handiwork is the subject of many whispers. Dahlia is known by the anonymous title, the Killer of Collis. With an inscrutable gaze and a flat effect, her presence frequently chills others even without mention of her occupation. Most who know the truth about her opt to avoid her altogether. What motivates Dahlia is a source of ongoing debate. Some cite her prices as evidence she's in it for the money. Others point out that she sometimes works for free, particularly when the client is a vulnerable individual and the target is a corrupt noble. Why she leaves a black rose at the side of each kill is a mystery. I looked up, too, the differences in recruiting her and giving her money. 500, she doesn't really care. She doesn't like that. 1,000, you get her to stick around, and then it costs 200 more to recruit her. If you just pony up and pay 1,500, she's recruited instantly, and you get a renown boost with her. So, I think I made the right choice. Alina. Kind and soft-hearted, Alina is a much-needed beacon of hope for the weary soldiers in camp. Though gentle, she can assert a stern demeanor when needed, driving her allies to give their all, if only to avoid disappointing her. I'm gonna have more water real quick. I saved this to be the end of my session, and man, my voice can feel it. But we're almost done. Elias, a wise old man who has seen his share of wars and conquests, and Ballastar's most experienced advisor. Has a careful, deliberative approach in war meetings. He tends to do more listening than talking, and only speaks when he has something important to say. Gilbert, our boy Gilbert. Man, he looks cool there. In Benario, it's said that an old man's head holds more wisdom than a king's library. In Gilbert's case, it also holds more booze than a king's wine cellar. Native to the Benario province, Gilbert was once a famed tactician in his own right, with a dedication to his people matched only by his love of strong drink. During the imperial conquest, it was his quick wit that saved the lives of countless commoners, many of whom were conscripted into war against their will. Yet there is only so much one man can do in the face of overwhelming might. Disillusioned by the Empire's victory and those sacrificed to lay its foundations, Gilbert retired from military service and renounced the world. In the years thereafter, he could most often be found at the nearest pub, heavily inebriated, yet cursed with the unshakable lucidity of one who has seen too many senseless deaths. When a promising young mercenary invited him to join the rebel cause, Gilbert begrudgingly took up arms once more to finish the work he failed to complete so long ago. Gio. Isoro's brother and Ballastar's uncle. As another proud son of the Fenice family, Gio is more than competent in battle. However, he is known more for his gentle heart and jovial nature. He enjoys a good reputation with soldiers at camp, who regard him like a kindly father figure. One of the fan favorites, Godfrey. A burly warrior with a short temper, Godfrey enjoys the exhilaration of fighting, and is constantly chasing the high of victorious battles. He doesn't hesitate to speak his mind, particularly where he perceives weakness. Guillermo. A man of logic and logistics, Guillermo acts as the chief strategist for Isoro and his army. Though brilliant at his work, his natural air of condescending superiority often makes him a target of practical jokes. Isoro himself. The patriarch of the noble Fenice family, Isoro once fought to resist the Empire's conquest of Artemisia. His failure cost the life of his brother and the dignity of their house. Or so Isoro seems to believe. Now, with vengeance rekindled in years of preparation, Isoro leads the largest rebel force in Benario, determined to finish what he started all those years ago. Joanna. A quiet mercenary who is a close associate of Clara's and acts as her chief strategist. According to Clara, Joanna was once a gregarious grain merchant, until rumors of an affair with her sister's husband caught fire in her hometown. Her reputation destroyed by scandal, Joanna left her home and joined a mercenary company, becoming guarded and suspicious towards people. Yet, in a strange twist of fate, these very qualities made her into a cunning tactician, able to weigh and risk the lives of others with shrewd logic and calm dispassion. As Clara's reputation grew, the two soon gravitated towards one another and fell into an equitable business partnership. Since joining Eden's camp, their dynamic has remained largely the same. With Clara settling with Clara setting the destination, while Joanna plots the route. Yet to everyone's surprise, including her own, Joanna has begun to socialize and grow close to her peers in camp. A bit of her old self, re-emerging among new friends. Though she may not be as outspoken as his other advisors, Eden relies on Joanna's input in times of need. Clara. One of the most famous mercenaries on Artemisia. And the most expensive. Abandoned at birth, Clara was raised in an Aristan temple. When Ludovictus rose to power, the faith was outlawed and the temple destroyed. Clara soon found her way to the back alleys of Liro Yar, where she was picked up by a mercenary guild. Having experienced firsthand what it meant to be at the mercy of those with money and power, she swore to accrue as much of both as she could, and never be powerless again. Before long, she had established herself as an incredibly skilled fighter, willing to take on the sorts of high-risk jobs and morally grey clientele that local mercs like Eden tend to avoid. Strangely enough, though, Clara's services cost an arm and a leg, and her company has reportedly never failed a client. She doesn't seem to have much wealth to show for it. Oh, I see. I see what they're saying. Yeah, so she, never fails, but doesn't have much money anyway. Rumor has it that she invests the majority of her earnings in rare manuscripts, particularly primers on tactics and strategy, in order to take on more complex assignments with even greater payouts. If true, it would seem her plans are nearing fruition. As a newly anointed rebel commander, Clara has pledged her allegiance to Isoro, and now fights for the prize of a lifetime, the chance to shape her future however she sees fit. Yeah, she's pretty cool too. And that makes a lot more sense as to why she is where she is now. Because we introduced her to Isoro, but I thought she was just like Eden's childhood friend that is also a mercenary. And I'm like, how on earth did you become like my equal in Isoro's eyes that quickly? You helped us in one battle. But if that was her reputation upon coming to us, I understand now. Lila. Often found accompanying her sister Selena, whom she takes it upon herself to protect from the rougher elements in camp. Known for having a chilly, walled-off demeanor, especially around people she doesn't know. And the last one for now, Rosalina. A woman of few words, Rosalina is difficult to approach, much less read. Regardless, she is deadly with a bow, and carries out Isoro's orders without hesitation. And that is the Codex, up until now. Oh, we got through it. We've still got a few minutes left in this episode. And I've got some more time. Can I just hang out with you? Is that it? Can I, invite you to eat or anything like that that would actually help me?
I've been expecting you. My vision is cloudy.
It feels as if a fog has yet to be lifted. I will require more time.
My humblest gratitude.
Do you have anything else to, Do I just have to get people?
I disagree.
No. Okay, well. I can't do much else with her right now, unfortunately. It wanted me to, spar with anybody. I think we do that with Andrea. I think that's how I want to do it.
Yeah?
Was it chat over a workout? I'm not sure that's what it was.
Thanks.
I'm gonna go check the board real quick. I wish I could see this from anywhere on the map. Complete one training session. Oh, yeah. I think I remember where that is. We have to go here, and we talk to the Master of Arms. Yeah, I'd like to spar with someone. That's what that is. Okay. We might do Robert. And do Spear and Shield here. I don't know why it says he's at level 1 on Spear and Shield. but 9 on swords. That's quite odd. And then that, yeah, will have no effect. So we'll do that. Yeah. Maybe that's why he's so bad with spears. I don't really get that, though. Now it says 9. Oh, I'm training spears. My bad. Alright, well, that's fine, I guess. Yeah, we wrecked him. Oh, yeah, I forgot that was a thing. Okay. Successful quick time events and stuff. Okay, well. Alright. We could do it. Oh, we can't. Okay, I was like, can we do that again? That might be good to help people, but... Nope. Alright, we've got a little bit more time. Let's see what Zavaroli has. Zavaroli. Like he's some sort of pasta. Yeah, it's just all common stuff.
My humblest gratitude.
Not worth much to us. So we can eat with people. We can talk to people about stuff. Yeah, there's a lot we can potentially do. I'm not sure what the best thing to do is for us right now. Francisco's doing great. Let's hang out with Andrea, maybe.
Yeah?
Or did I do that the other time? I don't remember. Maybe I should diversify. Who do I have relationships with? Let's do that. Is there anybody I'm close to, like, finishing it with? That boost is crazy. Dahlia's already, like, matched with a lot of my other people. I'm pretty close with Robert, but we already talked with him this time. Gabriel's not here right now. Can I even talk to Clara? I haven't seen her anywhere. I don't know that she's, like, on the field yet, because I'd like to recruit her one day, too. No, she's not even here. Let's do... I guess we could do Francisco. We're not actually that close with him, surprisingly. So yeah, we can go eat with him.
How's it going?
Yeah, we'll chat over a meal. You buying, brother? In that case, don't mind if I do. Let's ask him what his hobbies are.
How's it going?
Nothing like some cards to pass the time, eh, brother? Especially with a little money on the table. Some things never change, I swear. Anytime somebody got a game going in Lynetta, it was a matter of time till you burst in. Ha, those were the days. Back then, I could play against someone new every day of the week. Slim pickings around here, though. Say, you want to play a hand or two while you're here?
Nope.
No thanks. I learned my lesson the last time you relieved me of my savings. Why not try Robert? Oh, he's no fun. I can read him like an open book. I need an opponent who can keep me on my toes. Uh-huh. Suit yourself. If you're not in the mood, I'll just have to go ask him. That's a wrap. Thanks, brother. Alright. Then we'll come up here to... I forget where... Oh, yeah. It's Gilbert is sitting at the thing. The next time, we're going to do Bandit Duty. The optional battle. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much for tuning in. For story time, I guess. That's what pretty much this whole episode was. But next time, we'll be back into battle. Thank you all so much for checking it out, and I will see you next time. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Almost forgot the things. Alright, now see you next time. Bye!